What is going on, Mr. Man? And here back with part 2 of the Xbox series of consoles and that, or the Series X and that. And today we're going to be reviewing the Xbox 360 in that. So let's just do some more like history like that. Yeah, the Xbox One was a semi-success in that, so they wanted to make a sequel in that. They call it 360 because 360 no scope and shit like that. So yeah, this is basically the sequel to the Xbox. Instead of the Xbox 2, it's the Xbox 360. I already told about how to name this shit. I don't know why, but yeah, this is actually the Xbox, this is basically the, I was gonna say Series X, the Xbox, 360, everyone. This is the original white version in that, and I'll talk about the rendering of it later on that. But this is basically like a slimmer down version of the Xbox One, the original the OG Xbox. I keep calling it the Xbox One for some dumb reason, but yeah, this is basically the 360 in that. So yeah, it's also like white, which is basically the overall design in that. It's a lot more slimmer and a lot more thin. It looks like the Xbox has lost a bit of weight since 2001, but yeah, it was released in like 2005 and that. And unlike the Xbox 360, the original Xbox in that, which that was not really like it was semi-successful. This was overly successful in that because I don't know, like leaks in that, and also because the PS3 at launch kind of sucked a little bit in that. And that's basically why half of my friends like jumped ship to the 360 in that. Yeah, basically. So let's talk about the design of it. That's what I'm probably just doing that. So 360 basically is sort of similar in that. Well, basically similar design. The Xbox is like a power button. There's the controller ports and stuff like that. And it also has memory cards in that, which I don't have any memory cards in that. There is what is it, RF thing for like the remote control in that. Yes, you can play, you can also watch DVDs in that. It's also out of the box as well, so you don't need like a dongle in that. Although I think early on in the series in that, they also had like they had something compatible for like the what was it? Oh yeah, for the HD DVD in that. But it was before Blu-ray took over in that. Yeah, and that obviously failed in that, and they were discontinued in that. So, what can I talk about? Oh, let's talk about the console itself. So basically, it has like the silver thing in there, memory cards in that, and that is to like connect wirelessly in that. Because if you can see right here, this was basically the first ever one to support Bluetooth and stuff like that. Yeah, so you can like basically like plug this into like a regular. Into like a regular. You can plug this into like I believe Windows 7 supports it as well, but you need like I don't have it at the moment. But you can also, but it requires require like a wireless a wireless adapter in it. You can't just plug it into the wall, plug it into the Xbox in there. I tried that and it just says it's like charging or something like that. Yeah. So let's just go back to the back of the thing in that, and it's basically, this is like the original model in that, so it doesn't have like this one doesn't have not Wi-Fi, doesn't have like what was it? Oh yeah, this one doesn't have HDMI in it, so it's like original AV. This has like, again, it has like internet in it, but this one has like Wi-Fi in it, so you can like connect offline in that. And there is the, get away, you stupid here. This is basically the power supply in that. Yeah, so yeah, it's quite bulky in that. I'll eventually talk about the other models that. And you can also do something that I think you can only do it with the original the Xbox 360 in that. You can actually remove the hard drive in it. This is the hard drive in that. It's only 20 gigabytes in that. I brought this model, I brought it on the cheap in that. It doesn't have like scratches in that. Yeah, so that's it in that. And a little bit of the games in that. And let's talk about the launch games in that. The first coming guy is basically more important to the Xbox 360 because without it we wouldn't have much RAM in that. And that is Gears of War, the limited edition in that. I actually you can seriously buy the regular version everywhere in there. Like, every EB Games I go to has a bunch of Gears of Wars in there. But I got the limited edition, which I brought from the Salvation Army for $2 in there. But I think it's probably varied at more, but I'm not sure. So yeah, without Gears of War in that, we wouldn't have around. I think they originally had 260 gigabytes of RAM, but thanks to that, this system now has more than that RAM in that. So yeah, but while we talk about 4 in that, let's talk about what because it's been successful in that, and I already talked about like my thoughts on video on that, is basically the Red Ring of Death in that. So you guys are like wondering, does this console have the Red Ring of Death? Well, I only had this console for about a week now in that, and I have played it, and it doesn't like the Red Ring of Death doesn't like actually appear. I haven't had like any of the red symbols and stuff like that have been around in that, basically a ring. So I think this system, either down the line, was like it's basically, this is either a one that hasn't, it's one of the later models in that, or it's one of the other models in that actually has been fixed in that. So it's probably either the 1 and 2 in that. So while we're going down to models in that, let's go talk about the other because the reason why I brought the other models in that, and that is these two ones in that. Now let's talk about the design of the this is like the very first Slim in that. It's all black, so it's going back to the original Xbox in that. Basically the same in that, but it just gets rid of those memory cards in that. So you've got a power button, you've got the disc in that, USB to hides on. You look to the back, and it has power supply has gotten a bit shrunk, and it actually has like a similar one to the original Xbox One. Well, the Xbox One, not the OG Xbox. Has I think that one right there is actually for. Let me just move the camera in. This one's basically for like optimal, so you can like use it for like sound bars and that, and some. I think some some headphones like support it as well. Internet, you've got this one actually has HDMI in it, Ethernet port, and 3 USBs in it, and one for the Kinect, which, yeah, the Kinect. Well, basically, when everyone else was copying, Nintendo, stuff like that, well, it shouldn't, like you guys already said it, and, yeah, it's basically it. So it has like there's a weird USB in it that only plugs into that. Yes, and you might say, oh, do you have any games for it? Yes, I do. I do have a game for it. Yeah. I remember playing this at intermediate net when my old teacher brought he actually brought it for it was like the last day of the term and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's why he brought it. He basically brought it there and that with the thing in there, and actually admit it, I actually had fun playing that. I haven't I only brought the system because of this video net, so I haven't tried it yet, and I haven't tried to play this game net. Probably won't bother. So yeah, that's basically it for the Super Slim in that. And let's go to the latest model in that. Sorry, it's a little bit dirty in that. I mean, I should have cleaned it before I recorded that. Yeah, this is like the latest one, the Xbox 360 Ethernet, which is actually quite similar in design to the Xbox One in that. Let's just put it on top of each other in that. Yep. So that basically does look similar in that. Cause like it has a rectangular design in that. That's basically why it's similar. And actually, the top looks similar in that as well. So yeah, but the Xbox One, that's gonna be for another episode in that. So yep. And basically the back, oh yeah, this one, I brought it without like the HD pack in that. Yeah, it's like quite small in that. That one actually has like 350, this one has 250 in it, but yeah. And in the back it has like obviously another different power supply in it. This one has Ethernet in it. This one, it doesn't have the optimal one in it, but this one has like audio, which I haven't tried it with headphones yet, so I probably won't. Obviously it has like the Kinect, and also has internet and 2 USBs in it. So it's basically the same as the other models in it, but it's just like the same one. And it's basically, and the reason why it looks similar to the Xbox One in it, because it came out the same year as the Xbox One. Well, when it was announced in it, because the Xbox One wasn't released in New Zealand until a year later. So yep. So that's basically it for the internet. Basically, for the Xbox Series in it. I also have Crackdown in it, because that game's fucking everywhere in it. And it also has like the beta in that. That's probably why a bunch of people bought it in that, because of Halo in that, but it's pretty good. I like the sequel better in that, because it was kind of boring in that. So yeah, that's basically it for the original Xbox series in that. So yeah, so I think that's enough for me. My name's Retro Man, and I'll see you guys for part 3, and I'll finish this whole trilogy with the Xbox One.